What item do you own that is ultra rare? Someone in my family, we think it's one of our great aunts, has a plate off the Titanic, because my family is exactly the type where in the midst of a gigantic disaster, they would grab the nearest pricey thing and hold on to it for dear life. A Wheel of Fortune board letter N, from when they had to manually put letters on the board, that was signed by Pat and Vanna. I own a Ninja Turtles VHS tape that was signed by 3 of the 4 original voice actors, Cam Clarke, Barry Gordon, and Townsend Coleman. I'm not even sure how I got it or why Rob Paulson didn't sign it. Edit number 1, I would show a picture of the VHS, but I'm currently 200 miles away from home in college. This sounds like a side quest you must undergo. Shot glasses that my granddad relieved from somewhere in Germany during World War II. Lovely set of 6 with a swastika and Nazi Reichsadler etched into all of them. 10mm socket. I can't believe /this/ is my highest rated comment. My retainer, which was shaped specifically for my teeth. Only one in the world. Edit, wow, first quadruple digits of karma. 4 years of getting gum stuck in my braces was worth it. An unopened copy of the original Final Fantasy. Picked it up on a whim when I found it in the clearance box of a KB Toys that was about to close, and threw it in a box where I promptly forgot about it till my parents finally pestered me into cleaning all my shit out of their attic. Nice try, burglar. I have a Luger handgun, given to me by my dad, given to him from his dad, which was recovered during World War II. When I was a kid, me and my dad went out and shot it a bunch before we decided to preserve it. We didn't want to break any parts. It's a freaking dream to shoot, man. A dead aquatic Sicilian in a jar of alcohol. For those who don't know, Sicilians are a type of amphibian, like frogs, toads, salamanders and newts. They are elongated and limbless, like snakes. Most are blind, and all are native to tropical areas. The majority live deep underground, but some are aquatic. Some even have weird little tentacles growing from their heads. At one point, a bunch of these were captured in Colombia or Venezuela, can't remember which country, and shipped to tropical fish shops in the States, incorrectly labeled as rubber eels or black rubber worms. Even a few Walmarts stocked them. Of course, most died on the way from South America, more died from improper care once they had arrived, and many climbed out of the aquariums. They don't breathe with gills, eventually dying after drying up on the floor. Eventually, the importation, trade and possession of aquatic Sicilians was banned by CITES. I had one when I was 10 years old. They were still legal at the time, and thankfully, decided to preserve it in a jar of alcohol after it died. It has held up surprisingly well. I feel guilty for having purchased one of these fascinating creatures as a pet, but I'm lucky to have the body in my possession. Very, very few people do, outside of museums. I love Sicilians and would love to see one in the wild someday. Edit, here's a link to the photo. Edit, one last thing about the animal pictured here. Years ago, while transporting it in a container of damp moss, I actually heard it vocalize. At first I thought it was the sound of air escaping from the body cavity, but then I heard it several more times. The Sicilian raised its head and made a series of soft clicks and squeals reminiscent of the sonar used by cetaceans, whales, dolphins, etc. My father was also present for this, and remembers it clearly, but we had no video camera at the time. To this day, I found no scientific literature suggesting that these creatures can vocalize. I'm hoping it's only a matter of time before someone else, a professional with good camera equipment, observes this same behavior and sheds more light on the subject. Interestingly, typhoon-nected Sicilians have been found resting together in large groups, all sharing the same submerged burrow before emerging to hunt after dark. This might suggest a social behavior that we aren't yet aware of. That would be very unusual for amphibians. But then again, so is nursing young with a milk-like secretion, which at least one species can do. A 1-year tag for Narcotics Anonymous. More than 80% of heroin users don't even make it 6 months out of rehab. Edit, thank you all so much. Trying to reply to everyone as I can while at work today. My birthday is tomorrow, and you're making me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. If you need help you can message me. You're not alone. One of the models of Dobby used in making the Chamber of Secrets. I won it on SMTV Live when I was 10 and ever since he has watched over me at the end of my bed. Edit, here it is. Michael Jordan rookie card. I was really into baseball cards, but they weren't selling any at the local convenience mark, so I settled for basketball. People forget that basketball was not what it is today, and basketball cards were definitely not a thing. In fact, Jordan's rookie card would, in normal circumstances, be a second-year card, but no one made basketball cards the year before. One of my great-great-great-grandfathers was a Civil War artist. He would sit back from the battlefields and paint the battles. His work can be found in the Smithsonian in DC and some other places. I own a picture he drew of a lighthouse burning off the coast of South Carolina. It's definitely the only one that exists. I collect antique books and I have 1796. Suetonius. I have a 1691 version but it's not in English and it's in a bit worse shape. 1655, Josephus 1604, Tacitus 1510, Pliny the Younger i.e. most of the relatively contemporary sources for the historical Jesus and early Christians. I also have a 1531 Dante's Divine Comedy. Edit, I posted the pictures, and I have both major versions of the Decameron, the 1573 censored version, with the signed pages signifying approval of the Catholic Church, and the Leonardo Salviati restored version, 1585 with his stamp. Edit, since this is getting a huge response, I'd like to promote /r/rare books. It's a sub filled with people who post, rare books. It's not active but if you're interested, I'm sure the fine folks there would appreciate the attention and the karma. Considering the overwhelming support, I also plan to take some pictures of the books I mentioned above and I'll be posting them on that sub. It's nice to see people appreciate books in general, not to mention very old books. Thank you all, there's hope for humanity yet. Edit 2, I posted the Divine Comedy Edit 3. Thank you for the gold, /u/high on tacos. An Adidas hoodie with the logo printed upside down. Only one batch was ever made, as it was a factory mistake. It comes with serial number and all. Edit, picture. I don't have the hoodie at home right now, but here's a picture I took for my Instagram. Paid version of WinRAR. I own a vinyl record from North Korea. Not ultra rare but there aren't that many out there. Probably the only thing I have that is ultra rare is an old family photo with Fidel Castro in it. Edit, from LR, mom, red blouse, sister, aunt, dad's side talking to Fidel, my aunt, mom's sister, grandmother. Raul's daughter is standing next to him. In the back are Angelito and her driver, Fidel's sister. Raul took the photo. I don't own this, but recently I had my hands on an original copy of Mein Kampf from the 1930s. I was visiting the guy I'm seeing at his parents' home, and much to my surprise, it was chilling there on the bookshelf. It was given to a newlywed couple in 1939 as propaganda, with an inscription, and I guess it was passed on down to my friend's dad. The whole book was written in the Gothic script that the Nazis were obsessed with, which was difficult to read. Felt weird as hell to hold an actual piece of 1930s Nazi propaganda in my hands. Dwight, I come from a long line of fighters. My maternal grandfather was the toughest guy I ever knew. World War II veteran. Killed 20 men, then spent the rest of the war in an Allied prison camp. First edition To Kill a Mockingbird. A pair of Ray-Bans. Made in 1972 as part of the Diamond Hard collection. They have hexagonal brown lenses dubbed prism lenses, and the frames are 24K gold. They are some of the rarest sunglasses there are. Not particularly valuable, I got them for under $100 at a pawn shop that didn't know what they were, and you can find one or two on eBay every now and again for under $1,000. But they're freaking cool and hard to find, and I love them.